Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. All right, so let's see what we have for this week. I'm going to be covering Rubberhose Animation again this week, and this is an old project. I let's see. Copy. Yeah, this is an old project that I did a good couple weeks ago. Um, I think it was back in April. Yeah, so I did this back in April, and it was basically an illustration. It hasn't really changed much from there. So it hasn't really changed much. It's still the same animation of or female character running. And I'm actually gonna take the music way down so I can hear myself speak, which should make it near imperceptible for the rest of you. Um, all right, so what am I doing in After Effects today? So I click on this and that's what happens. I'm just making sure everything is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. And since like I said, this is a project that we've done before, so I'm just catching up on it. It was originally supposed to be one of our bonuses, but it turned out to be a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. Um, so it turned out to be a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. So this is the animation, and it's staggering right now. This is the character we animated last time, so now we're working on this one. And I did some studies prior to this. So now I'm thinking of adding some personality to these runs because they're not really communicating anything right now. So my first thing is that I want to change the passing pose, but since I'm not quite sure how to do pose by pose animation in a program that's fundamentally made for tweening. And for those of you who are, how do I put this? You don't know what tweening is, it's a little bit different than what you're thinking it is. It's essentially you make two posed frames in a program and you allow the program to work out the movement between them. It's fundamentally different from traditional animation, being that um, traditional animation involves you drawing every frame. So this is actually much quicker than traditional animation. It's just that, how do I put this? Yeah, it's just that it's not really doing much. So I'm just gonna get started. If you want to reach out to me, I do have comments on. This is good. So I'm just gonna talk about some things while I'm doing this and I'll explain. Not a professional in this particular topic. What I am doing is figuring it out just like the rest of us. So if there's anything you want me to try or anything that you've ever wondered what would happen if you do this in After Effects, feel free to just comment, ask me to try it out, and I'll essentially be the guinea pig for this. And hopefully by the end of this series of videos, we will have a very interesting gift. So this is the full gift, or the full video that I'm going to turn into a gift. And I'm going to give these to all my subscribers on Instagram and Discord. I will put up a downloadable version of this. And I'm also thinking it will be a nice portfolio piece. I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I'm planning to go with this art stream. I do want to educate people with it. I also want to do experiments. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what direction I want to take this, but until then, we can discover it together. So what I have here is a running of the character, and what I noticed in this version of it is that this character runs extremely slowly. He kind of looks like he's just coasting along. Meanwhile, our other character, which is the girl right here, and the only reason she isn't moving is because I haven't animated her position yet. So, yeah, that's that. So he's just jogging along comfortably, and I want her to have a more harried expression to her. She's definitely running a lot more. She's running a lot more strongly than he is. She's breathing more heavily. And if you hear any weird sounds from this side of the screen, it's because I'm over here. How do I put this? It's because I'm over here acting this out. So maybe one day when I have more equipment, I'll have a video camera so you guys can see me act out all of these things. I've been told by other animators that acting it out isn't weird. It's kind of something you have to do to get the movement right, just so that you know you're not overlooking things or imagining things. So there's a whole lot of acting out. My little Lockdown girl is extremely flat-chested, so I have nothing to worry about in terms of weight in the chest area, so that's good. I mean, I could always imply it by making her thing wiggle, but for now it doesn't look like it's gonna be that big a problem. So I'm kind of not liking this run anymore. I think it's kind of boring. So maybe I'll add the arms and we'll see. So there we go. I'm just closing everything down. I actually have Shy activated, and I always give a little mini tutorial as to what the buttons are, but I'm gonna skip over a lot of them this time, just because I've said it several times before, and I don't think it needs much more. So he's very relaxed, which kind of irritates me just a little bit. Kind of want him to be like more, but I don't know what more is. Let's go to our female runner. And let's go here. So I've got all of this shaped up already. Alright, so she's definitely quicker. So I'm just gonna get here and see what I have available to me. So I have her legs, shoes, socks, shoes, skin, and I'm just gonna hide the skin. Okay, so I did some animation on the nose. That's what I was checking just now, and I can see the nose. It's a scale function. So I'm gonna just be like this. I'm gonna select all of this and delete it. And I'm just gonna start with the nose. And the reason I'm doing that is simply I just want something relatively easy just to get back into the feel of this animation, since I am very much kind of lost as to where I left it. So we're just gonna play it. So I had her breathing very quickly. And that is the gist of her animation. So let's try this again. And what I want to do is change the timing. So I want her to be breathing much more quickly. So I'm just gonna hit that. And that's gonna be 100. And even though I say I want her breathing much more quickly, you'll see me put that much space between the frames. It's simply because I just want to see what's going on in the animation. I'm going to adjust the timing afterwards. So before I had 105, so I'm going to go to 110. And that's a significant difference in size. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to do this. Go to 100. Okay. And as I'm breathing inward right now, your body kind of goes up when you inhale. So that huge So right now I'm watching the mount, and I'm actually gonna go get the mount, hide that headband, and see what the timing is on the mount. Leave that there. I'm gonna move this up. And I have this separated out so that I can play with my timeline. And also so that you guys can see it. What this is telling me is I'm gonna move here. And each of these is the mount inhaling. So this is gonna be there. And I'm not gonna make it equal. I want the exhale to be fast and the inhale to be slow, so let's just get in there. And that's it. So, and I'm just gonna delete that keyframe. Oh, hey Tony. How's it going? Yeah, we're doing the lot this week. I told you we would in about 2 weeks. I didn't stream last week, so I didn't get to do the thing I was planning to do then. But I got to stream this week, so I'm doing the locks. I'm actually considering maybe doing something from an existing animation next week. Maybe the Loud House. It's telling me that Senpai didn't notice me. Who's telling you that Senpai didn't notice you, Tony? The lock? If that's what the lock's telling you, then you should have a very detailed conversation with it. Tell it to be nice to you. I'm serious, you should tell it to be very nice to you. All right, so we're gonna go back here. This is 110, and I'm just gonna easy ease these keyframes, which is selecting them, right clicking it, keyframe assistant, and just go to easy ease. The shortcut for this is F9. However, given the setup of my keyboard, that's 2 keys and not 1, so I'm just ignoring it. And so I can actually move that there. I don't want to make this window smaller because of the size. I need you guys to be able to see it, so I'm just gonna make it shorter that way, and then it will take up way less space. So, and I don't think I really saw the mount move. I'm wondering if it's a it's calling you names and fighting with you. Yeah, it will do that. It will, because it's running a marathon, so it's really irate right now. Haven't you ever seen fights break out in marathons? Those things are scary. Marathons are pretty cool, but you have people who get really, really tense over them. And I'm actually thinking 10 might be too small, so I'm gonna blow this up to 20. And yeah, that's pretty good. So I think 120, although it looks really, really huge, it's an exaggeration that gives me that kind of kick feel to the exhale. Because then the inhale is, I'm going to put the inhale at 90. So with the inhale at 90, we get a really, really quick inhale exhale feel, which works for the tweening. Which one of the locks are you fighting with, Tony? Because there's like 8 or so in the picture. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 locks in the picture, excluding the mannequins. So which one are you fighting with? Inquiring minds want to know. Alright, so let's go there. Let's go back to the runner. And can I add... So I can only have one composition in this at a time, which is really sad because I was thinking I could just spur them across here and you guys could look at the compositions. And there's probably a way to do that with split view, which I just remembered. So I'm gonna actually, so I can actually do this. Whoops. And I can change, well, this is for cameras, so technically it's not gonna show you this. So I'm just gonna go back to 1, but it's nice to know it's there. Okay, so Tony says he's fighting with the one by the tree. So let's see which one that is. And Tony's fighting with the professor. Okay. Are you upset because he doesn't have, so Tony's fighting with this one right here. Are you upset because he doesn't have any of the computer juice stuff? Because he's alright. He's probably the most chill lock in this whole composition. Alright, so we've got here, a little bit past it, and we're gonna go, so this is the inhale, This is the exhale. So this is another exhale. So I'm going to put this here. We're going to jump to 120 again, which means this inhale right here is going to go to here. And I'm not quite sure. I'm just working things out. So let's see. This should be 100. So let's see how that looks. All right. So that's giving the impression of labored breathing. All right. So what are you fighting with the professor about, Tony? What exactly is the professor fighting you on? Is it the computer juice? Is it the secret of the universe? Is it because he's under a tree while everybody else is out in the sun? Like, what did he do? Because I know I've been that person who will look at that one person under the tree and just be like, the rest of us are burning, though. So, what is your problem with the professor? Alright, so it's definitely okay. So, this is a deep inhale. I am going to hit this one at 90. Exhale. I'm gonna hit here at 100. So I'm thinking it's a huge exhale here. His nose goes back to normal. He spends the entirety of this time inhaling. And then it's another quick exhale. So I'm just getting the feel for the cycle of this, and let's see. And I'm thinking actually that there should be more quick breaths in this, so. Okay, so Tony says he's fighting with the other lock because he wanted the computer juice so he can break the locks out of their prison and they can reunite with the keys. I don't know. It looks like a pretty nice prison. I mean, they've got clothes, a whole beach, windows, trees. They've even got medical care. In fact, I think a lot of them are living a life better than most Americans right now. Like, you've got the ambulance, food, you know, nice sunshiny days. They're really living it up. Why would you want to move them? Okay, so I'm thinking, like, why do you want to move them? In fact, if I were you, I'd be thinking of how I can get to Locktown. It looks like a nice place. Okay, so regular. Okay, so this is an inhale. That's an exhale. This right here is an exhale. So if I want it to be 2 big breaths, it's gonna be an inhale here, an exhale here, and then a big inhale, okay, let's see what that looks like. All right, so all right, so I'm liking that a little bit better now. That looks more like heavy breathing. Tony says, because I want that life. You're trying to break them out of their prison because you want their life. So are you going to live in the prison after you break them out? I'm just asking. It's curious to me. Like, what exactly is going to happen after the breakout? After they're reunited with the Keys? Um, what if the Keys decide to live in the prison with them? Because, like I said, it's a pretty cushy place. Like, what exactly do you have planned here? Okay, so that's the inhale, and that is the. What is this? I'm headed towards another. That's a huge inhale. So this right here is regular, and this is a huge inhale, which makes this a huge exhale. I'm actually going to put that really close. And I'm thinking 2 breaths per mouth movement. Okay. I just tried to do what I'm animating physically, and as I've just found out, that ain't possible. So it looks a little bit weird because what I'm animating actually isn't possible. The mouth movement isn't matching the nose, and that's why it looked weird. So I'm gonna go back to this. I just hit Control Z a couple of times. Right. Okay, so Tony says the plan, that's the plan. I'm going to free them and then lock myself in there. So, Tony, you're not planning an escape, you're planning a hostile takeover of their home. That's what that is. That is called a hostile takeover. I'm serious. There's a name. It's a coup. Tony is planning a actual coup of my little lockdown. Okay. All right. Good luck with it. Tell me if you succeed. Like, and tell me exactly how you managed it, because it's sounding to be. Whoops. All right. So this is an inhale. That is mega inhale. This right here. What's this before? That's 120. So this should be 100. And then all right, so this is actually confusing me now, so bye-bye. All right, so this is regular. Let's hit that. This is a inhale. That's 90. This is 100. 90. This is an amazing exhale, so let's do 120. This confuses me, so let's see. This is amazing inhale. All right, so as you plan your hostile takeover of the little art world that I've created, what will you do once you live there? This is, let's go back. This is, oh, this is an exhale. That's why that's messing me up. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And this is an exhale. So in order to loot this, I'm actually going to come over here. And shift copy, move this all the way down to here, paste, copy, paste. And let's just see where that's the sock. What I'm looking for is the shoe, and we'll move that down just so that everything lines up. And all right, so that should be it. And let's test this. So let's make this smaller, bring this down, and actually bring that there and move this to it. Okay, so the reason it's acting so funny is because I put this in here when there was actually more frames there. So now it's throwing a tantrum. So we go here, cut and paste. And then we're just gonna zoom in on this one, move it down, and repeat the same thing for here. All right, so let's see. When I take over, I will have you come and I'll show you around all the changes I've done. There'll be a new base for the booty snatchers and also a small base for the flock. Okay. All right. If you say so. So, are you just like conquering worlds, or is this just specific to this town? Let's see. Let's see what this is. I've got absolutely figuring this out. So is this an inhale? No, it's an exhale. So we're just gonna do that and 120 again. Puts this one at 90. 120, 90, and 120. And then that moves me out to here. Oh, this is going way out. I kind of only needed it to be here. And I'm moving this to 100. And what I want is to come here, copy, Control C, Control V is to paste, and there. So now that I do this, it should work. Okay, so it's very, very blocky. I'm gonna go back to Easy Ease and see. All right, it's a little bit smoother now, but it's very distracting. Maybe because it's in sync. So let's move that down a bit. And I shifted it, so let's see. Maybe I move it back. All right, so Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. All right, so another theory of how this can work. I don't like the animation, so that's 100, 90, 120. So I'm gonna put this to 100. Right, 90, 100, 90, 100, 90, 100. I'm gonna see if I can just select this. Nope. So let's try Shift. And yes, you can. So all of these values, so we've got 90, 100, 90, 100. So there, Shift, and I'm checking if this is working. There we go. All right, so that is 100. Delete that. Move that. All right, so the nose is animating correctly, the mouth is not. So I think it might be a problem with the position. All in the name of the computer juice. What exactly does computer juice do for you, Tony? Um, this lovely moment in time, a leg of mine does not exist. Why is that? Where is it? So I notice I've lost a leg because that is a thing that happens. So now that I've discovered it's the right leg, there we go. So I have not, in fact, lost a leg. I'm still trying to figure out, like, what does computer juice do for you, Tony? Let's see. So, things that have happened recently. There is a new trend in GIFs I've been seeing. I've seen it in the flock, and another of my friends also sent it to me. It's these white pictures, white lines that people make to troll light mode users, which in retrospect is probably a pretty clever idea, except for the fact that if you're in light mode, these pictures just appear as little how do I put it? They appear as badly, like, blurry tiny black lines around the outline of your picture, as if somebody forgot to, like, clear select properly in Photoshop. So it's not that light mode users can't see the picture. It just looks like really bad Photoshop. And also, when you can, like, click on it and see it just the same way as dark mode users, so it kind of works more like a spoiler than an invisible picture. So I was just trying to figure out what the whole purpose of it was, but my friend explained to me it was just trolling. It was really just trolling people. That's all it was. So it kind of confused me because that's a lot of effort to put into trolling people. There's ones with, the one I was sent was the one with SpongeBob. There's like ones with Kirby. It just doesn't really make much sense to me. We're gonna come here and position and okay, if I get really close to this, will it like... What I'm doing is putting in holes. So if two keyframes have the same value, the position doesn't move, it holds for whatever period of time. So I'm just putting in holes. I'm trying to get some punctuation in the animation, so it doesn't just look all smooth, but there is some, like, I don't know if you can see it, but right before here, because of those holes that I put in, there's kind of like a punctuation to that mouth now. So that's what I'm doing. Learned what trolling means. Took me... I knew what trolling was. I just don't understand why people do it. That's the difference. Um, I mean, I know it's fun for people. I know it's fun. It's just I don't understand it if I'm making any sense. Cause like, I mean, there's that. Yeah, it's just I get why. I just don't get why. That makes sense. It's kind of like memes. Memes took me a really long time to figure out. Like, I couldn't figure out why memes. I couldn't figure anything out. I was. Me on the internet is like a 4 year old sitting down and just learning for the first time, or like an old grandma who's just like no clue of what the internet does, but she's trying a thing. That's me on the internet when it comes to memes and trolling. I have no clue what's going on, and it's not making any sense to me whatsoever. Just don't know. So I put the hold in to punctuate it. I'm putting another one in, hoping that I am doing the exact same thing as last time. Because the only way I know what any of these is, so the position is the closest, so, and that one was holding it out. So we're here, we hold this, and then it shoots out, and from that shoot out state, copy V, we'll hold that, and then inhale again. Right? That's how it works. That's how it worked last time, right? Cancel. Yep, I think so. Well, I'll know in a minute. Okay, so it worked. So yes, I have the ability to remember the last 5 minutes of my life. What an accomplishment. Alright, so we're here. And I'm just gonna tell you a little bit more about these Locktown people. Since Tony is planning to take over their town, they might not exist for much longer. So keep them in your memory. We're here. Alright, so first of all, these were a total, well, not a total accident, but they were not intended at all to actually be this bigger project. They were made as a mascot for a little company, a contest that I entered, and the person didn't like it, so instead of throwing them away, I decided to make a GIF out of them, which turned into way more work than I thought it was going to be. Which is usually how art works. You get really excited about a project, and then it's just like, what the hell? Why is it so much work? So, did you see what the computer juice actually does? No, Tony, I have no clue what computer juice actually does. Please tell me, what is it that computer juice does for you? On the subject of these little lock people, a lot of the what I learned about this style of animation and the detailing of the animation really came from two sources. One of them is the Rubberhose Animation tribute that the animation Clarence did. That's where I'm getting most of these mouth movements. That episode was really crazy. I'm not actually the biggest fan of Clarence, but I appreciate good animation. So I'm kind of at a standstill as to why I watched that specific episode. The other influence is um actually a GIF made for Nike. Um it was made for Nike and I actually saw it on Behance. It's made by how do I put it? It's made by two people, two Chinese artists on Behance called Supersonic and Wang Tumu. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, and they're both from Shanghai, China. So they did an amazing moving GIF that is just surreal and crazy. I can actually put it in the tutorial, and you'll see that the color scheme and much of the style is from here. It's not rubber hose animation per se, but it's pretty close. So give me a second and I'll give it to you guys in the chat. And what did the computer juice do, Tony? So that's one of the inspirations. And then the other inspiration, I'm actually gonna put it in the okay. So I'm gonna put references. And that's one from Behance. The other one is the Rubberhose Animation from Clarence. I also did a bit of study with Cuphead, but I couldn't get much further there. Alright, so I'm just gonna like, how do I put this? I don't really have a link to the show itself, so I'm gonna give you the link to the Cartoon Brew article talking about the show. So Control V. So if you're curious to see what these things look like and not just staring at me, then yeah, feel free. Let's go back to animating. So there we are. All right, so this is in. This is gonna go all the way up to here. Copy V. It's gonna go to here. Okay, so I'm just double checking to make sure nothing's weird here. So there. That actually goes in, which is causing me to question. This is in. This is in. Okay. That goes here. I believe so. We're gonna put you all the way. And then we're gonna copy and paste here. All right, so it's looking like how it's supposed to look, I believe. And we'll just go right back here. And we're good to go. And we'll come back here. All right, so we're just animating the nose, and then I will animate the hands. Everything's rigged already, and if you want to see how the rigging process goes, you can go back to the first part of this, which I will put up to. I'll put up after this. I'll link it to the video once it's up. But you can go back. It's March 4th, I believe. No, April 4th. Yes. Should be April 4th. So we go here. I'm not going to do rigging again. So we come here. That's an inhale, slow exhale. Whoops. So copy paste. That slow exhale goes into a really big inhale. And we're gonna hold that inhale. So copy paste. I'm just gonna walk myself through it again. This is the inhale. It's going to be a slow inhale. So copy V. That's the exhale pose. And then we're gonna hold, move that over there. We're gonna hold that exhale pose just for a moment. And then we've got another inhale that we hold. And if I go back here and I play it, so now that it's rendered, you can see how it's looking. Her breathing has synced up. What we're gonna do now is, since I know this is a exhale now, what I'm going to do is scale it. So the last scale is 100, this is 106. So I'm gonna repeat this on the mount. So right in this position right here, I'm gonna go, and how I'm going to, excuse me, wow. How I'm going to indicate that slow inhale is a scale. So I'm gonna leave that and increase this to, not increase, perhaps not increase. Let's decrease it to 100. And let's go back. And this is an exhale, so now maybe you should increase it. Whoops. Hold it here. So copy and paste. And then it goes back to normal. So let's see how that looks before I change it anywhere else. So that has quite a bit of punch to it. I think I'm gonna leave it. I like it. So this is 100. And let's go back. The scale here should be, this is 105, so I guess I just stop it wherever it is right there. So it's slowly been increasing in size. We're just gonna let it do that to indicate that slow inhale. Here, we're gonna steal that away, and since it's an exhale, we do make it bigger. And that's gonna be bigger at 120. 120 is an arbitrary number. It doesn't have to be 120. I just probably used it since I was using it earlier in the stream. We go here, copy, paste, and we're going back here to do the same thing. So we're here, go there, catch it wherever it is, come here, change this to 120, go there, copy and paste this, copy and paste for our exhale, and move on to the next one. And the reason I don't just select these and just copy and paste all the way forward is because I handed most of these, so they're different in very subtle ways. And the reason I didn't do it exactly is so that it doesn't get that overall robotic feel. I'm not sure if I 100% succeeded on avoiding that, but there was the attempt. So we're gonna go 120 right here, copy and paste, and there's only 2 more to go, so not a lot of repetitive stuff, just a little. To 120, and copy and paste. Catch it there, to 120, move it, and copy and paste. And then the last one is wherever it wants to be. Let's see how all of that stacks up. And the first run through is it trying to render it, so alright, so she looks like she's having a lot more trouble running than our old dude. Our old dude is kind of just like catching the breeze. It's kind of just like strolling. And if we leave both of them, I haven't actually animated her yet in here, so I think if I take her whole body, and I actually don't have her body layer here, so I'm just gonna go here, not the stroke, skin. So skin's not shy. I'm just gonna see what I can do with the rotation and the overall position. Alright, so it did work as I thought it would. I was just double checking to see if it moved all the positions relatively. What that means is I already had some animation on the body already, and all I wanted to do was tilt it back and bring it a little bit backwards. So I wanted to bring it backwards there, just to give her a more hard look. So now she looks like she's having a way harder time. I'll be doing some animation to the eyes as well, but not right now. Right now, I want to tackle those arms because she looks really weird with them just sticking out there. So I'm gonna unshine my layers, and just for anybody else that might have popped up, I'm not sure because I'm not actually looking right now. Just letting you know we're doing Rubberhose Animation today. And if you have any questions about Adobe After Effects, just let me know. I did not create this character in Adobe After Effects. This was created in Adobe Illustrator. But if you want any armband, I'm sorry, armband, if you want any information about free animation programs or something that can do this similarly for you without you having to pay Adobe's very exorbitant prices, just let me know. There is a whole host, and I'm gonna take these out. There is a whole host of programs that are free that will allow you to do a lot of these things. All right. Also, I don't know if you guys were here this week when Instagram crashed. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Instagram lately. It's just like it's been doing a lot of weird things. Like I've been getting a lot of weird posts, I've been getting a lot of weird everything. Like not just here, but in general, a lot of weird stuff has been happening with Instagram lately. Okay. So things I discovered this week that I didn't know about before, and I'm just making small talk as I figure out exactly what I want to do with this. I don't really need a shape layer. I'm gonna hide that. So I've got the arms, and I don't really need the armbands right now. So what I want to do is get position on both of these. So I'm just going to click Shift, Position, and I'm working on a PC currently, so this is Command and Option for you guys respectively. So if you hear me go Shift, Control, Alt, the equivalent keys on a PC you can just pay attention to those on your Mac. So what you guys have is Command Option is like how do I put this? I really struggle with Mac. So you guys have Control, Option, and Shift. There we go. You also have your function key if you want alternate functionality. Just trying to remember. As you can tell, I am not a Mac fan. I can work on them. I can work on them pretty easily. It's just off the top of my head, I don't have that. Yeah, just right off the top of my head, I don't know, but I have muscle memory, and that's what keeps me going on Macs. My fingers automatically go where they're supposed to go simply because they're in the same position. So, first things first, let's whoa, wrong thing. Wrong. Let's not do that. So what we're looking on doing is actually not position, but rotate. So I've already adjusted the rotate points for this these layers. What I'm looking at right now is that this one is behind, it's not supposed to be, so I'm going to adjust that right now. So I'm going to unshine my layers, grab this arm and move it above the right arm, move it above close, and the stroke. And the reason I have stroke differently is specifically because of this character right here, this one. He is going to be a separate animation. You'll notice that his hands are wavy and he is wavy. So I'm going to recreate that woozy character in After Effects. And so I put the stroke separately to make my job easier way down the line. So if you're looking for free animation software, you can check out OpenToons. It's really, really good. There's GIMP. I'm not a fan of GIMP. I used it once before. I say once, as in to encompass a whole time period. But after I left it, I never went back. But it is a free software that works very much like Photoshop. So it's pretty good at that. There is Ink Paint. There's so many free software and none of them are coming to mind right now. But the one that I recently tried out was OpenToons. OpenToons kind of has a reputation among the 2D animation industry because it is the free developers version of the software that's used by Studio Ghibli. There we go. So that software is free. It comes with a lot of the modifications that Studio Ghibli made to it. And it was a software used to make Spirited Away, not OpenToons, but Toons. OpenToons, I repeat, is the free version of Toons. It is not, I wouldn't say it's inferior to the paid version. It just doesn't have as much of the tools. However, the developer's fan base has gone above and beyond in terms of, how do I put this? In terms of actually, like that. I left the armband when I moved this thing. Yeah. They've gone above and beyond in terms of developing the features that the current one has. So one problem you'll run into if you get OpenToons is that a lot of the tutorials are actually out of date now because the developers community has been trying so hard to keep all the features in line with the features of the paid version. So if you go on OpenToons, you will actually be taken to GitHub. And if you are a programmer of any sorts, you have ended up at GitHub at one period of your life. It kind of makes up the modification community, the programmers community. It's just what they do. So if you're really into it, you can find lots of tutorials, reading, movies for it. It's just that it might not look exactly how it looks like now because the developers community is really active, which is a good thing, meaning that you can always find someone to help you, even if you can't find a tutorial for it. And I'm going to just hide you because I have no clue why I would need the skin right now. Alright, so now that I've done that, and so I'm just gonna go okay, so I'm gonna use the puppet tool on this, right? Or no, not yet. Let's do rotations. Let me keep to the things I keep telling you guys to do. Do the preliminary movement first and then get into details. So we're here. And it's gonna be opposite arms to leg. So If that leg goes forward, this arm goes forward, and we're just gonna hit rotate on both of them. All right, and then we're just gonna move this here, remove that there. And I might actually move this arm backwards. I'm trying to give her a different sort of run than the grandpa character. This arm needs to go behind that leg. Spatially, it's wrong. So let's go here and move it behind the leg. Gonna unshire that, move the armband back there. And we're good. Go back to shine. And let's see what we have here. So, and that's the next one. So now we're gonna just go, just gonna get rid of all you guys. Not needed, right? No. Goodbye. So that goes forward. This goes backwards. Moving slowly. That goes backwards. No, that goes forwards. And that goes backwards. And let's do it again. So, and all of this hand motion is really just so that I can get a more natural feel to the animation. Otherwise, I just copy and paste. Okay. All right, that one right there goes backwards and forwards. All right, so this is what it looks like. And that's good. I'm gonna grab both arms, the position, there, rotations, whoops. What I need to do is select all of y'all, switch to position, and move you up. So I'm giving her a more uptight run. She looks a lot more uptight than her grandpa runner. And I want to give her shoulders a slight bounce. It's that kind of agitated, anxiety-filled bounce that I know you've all seen it. It's kind of just like you're panicking and your shoulders go up. Ow. Ow. So kind of like how I run, I call it the wimpy run. Like your shoulders go up and you kind of just like hightail it. I do it whenever I see a cockroach, a mouse, and most other insects. I also do it if I see seaweed in the water at the beach. Usually once it brushes my foot. So let's see. There we go. Let's see what we have here. Alright, so I mean, I could do gentle waves, but let's get the pinning motion on now. That's one. That's two. 3. And let's go again with the left arm. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now I can bend it. So the puppet tool is a wonderful tool. If you have stiff arms like I do, the puppet tool is your baby. It gives you more natural motion. You don't have to worry about anything. I'm actually gonna hide the armbands now. Reason being is that they're going to annoy me quite thoroughly if I have them on right now, because they will not actually follow the path of the puppet tool. The reason for this is actually because of coding. As far as the armbands are considered, the arms haven't changed position. The puppet tool deforms things, so the position of the object has stayed the same. It's just the deformation has changed. So if I wanted the armband to follow, I would theoretically have to code it. I would have to use an expression and tell it to follow the pin of the puppet tool and not the position of itself relative to this arm. It's a very, well, it's not really that complex, but it's not an intuitive thing to do. So animating this way, maybe that will be not my immediate next project. Maybe later down the line I will figure out how to write an expression to get the rig function right here, parent and link, to follow puppet tool pins as opposed to relative position, so that you don't have to adjust for deformations. But until then, or I could use a program that's actually meant for this, but that's different. I'm using After Effects for this. Honestly, the program you should be using for this is Adobe Animate, aka Flash. Never learned Flash, never learned it at all, so I use After Effects. And basically, if you don't know how to do something, you have to find a way to do it, even if you don't know how, and After Effects was what happened for me. But I'm currently teaching myself Animate, OpenTunes, and Photoshop's a really good program for other types of animation. But I like After Effects because I can deform it. If you really want like I said, if you really want a program that's made for this, you're looking at Toon Boom, Harmony, Adobe Animate, and I don't know if OpenTunes is capable of this. I have not explored it enough yet. However, given what I've seen in its program list, and I'm actually going to show you guys that right now. Let's go to there. I'm going to transition. So this is OpenTunes. Given what I've seen of the program, so you can go to animation, you can actually scan, clean up all of these stuff. I do believe it should be capable of it. I believe that's a definite maybe. If now I know what they mean by definite maybes. But yeah. So definitely believe it should be capable of it. I'm not sure. If it is, you'll find out next stream because I'm still playing with it. Alright. So now that I have this puppet tool, the arm has all of its rotations on it. And the puppet tool is going to give you a mesh. The items you're looking to control are hidden way in here. Most of the times I don't use this thing because it takes up so much space on my monitor. But because I have this floating out here, these are the small screen tricks, guys. Because I have this floating out here, I can just do this. And I've got a whole lot of space. And I pressed E to get just the puppet tool because the puppet tool is the only effect. That's what it did. That's what it done. And watch me get all my past tenses and present tenses wrong. So we're here. And the first thing I'm going to do is change the default of this. Now you might be wondering why the arm, the fingers are following it. And I'm not quite sure. So I ain't even going to pretend to know. Because then I'm going to give you misinformation. And that's not what I'm trying to do. So if I move that back there, move that back there, and play. Ooh, that looks creepy. Let's take that arm, this arm, and hit position on that and move that just a little bit. Back. You know, maybe let's look a little less creepy. Alright, so she's looking very tense. Let's see how it all looks. Let's Control Z, whatever I just did by accident. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, there. That's better for you guys, and play. Okay, so she looks very traumatized. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And let's shrink that. Just so you guys know what you're dealing with. So there we go. That's E. And I don't really have much to do here. The grandpa looks different from her. This is the animation as it plays now. And it's about half the time animated. What I'm going to do now is essentially create a loop. And just loop her over. And as you can see, this loop is not complete. You can tell when it restarts. There's a kind of hesitation near the end. So I said, what else did I say I was going to animate? Her shoulders. I'm just going to move right along and do that detail later down. So let's go here, fit up to 100. Let's go here and hit play. Alright, so let's go here, take here, and I'm gonna edit the shape. The shape has a black fill to it. So let's go down here and switch our items and click on the shape. And I'm just gonna cancel. I'm gonna hit Alt, in their case Option if you're on a Mac, and click to get rid of that. There's not much of a difference here, but if you go to here, you'll see that the black under it has disappeared. The reason why I leave the red lines is because the red lines are going to be replaced with the shadows that will follow the runners as we run later on. So this right here is our ongoing project for the foreseeable future. So we go here. I'll intersperse it with different things so that we don't get too bored, but this is basically our ongoing project. And we're good. Alright, so let's make this loop and let me have a life again. So just gonna lock that shape. And let's see, what else are we looking forward to doing here? To make a loop, I'm going to need her arms, armbands. Oh, that's what I forgot. Her armbands that are obviously not following. So her armbands are doing weird things. So instead of right arm, I'm actually gonna snap it to... Oh, okay. Alright. So what actually happened here is that I now know why the fingers... So in this animation, the fingers are separated. In this one, they're not. And that is why the fingers are over here following the arm. That makes so much more sense. Yeah, it makes so much more sense. So what I'm gonna do now is selecting the armband, that's Control. I'm going to hit Rotate and Position, Shift and Position. So if you want both, you hit Shift. I'm going to get rid of all of these that are not the arms. And for the arms, I'm going to hit Rotate and see where they fall. Let's move this down here. This is really convenient. I can just move it all the way around. So that's where I have that now. And you'll see the animation moving around the screen. Like I said, I have a small screen. Don't pay too much mind to it. So let's fit up to 100%. There we go. Let us see. So from here, we're gonna have to reposition our armband. So first things first, let's grab it, put it here, rotate it. Whoops, wrong one. Rotate it. And that will be its first position. So that armband Is that the correct one? Yep. Let's keep that there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show tweening, because this is basically a steady arc. So I don't really have too much worry over it. So we do here, rotate, there, and we lock that down. The next thing to do is go to the next position. There. So what we have happening is that I changed the one position, and now the armband knows exactly where to follow in relative position to the rest of it. And that's because it's linked to the right arm, and it's changing based on the rotation. So now that it knows where its relative position is in the rotation, it just adjusts to that position each time without me having to edit for each pose. If I wanted some movement to it, if I wanted it to shake, then I'd have to animate that individually, or I could add a wiggle to it, which is basically the cheat code way of doing it. But I'm not going to do that now because that would involve going into expressions, and expressions traumatizes everybody for some strange reason. They're not that hard, guys. Don't feel that they're hard. They're really not. And so, let's see. Yeah, that's it for today. At least on her. So I'm just gonna hit save, and then we're gonna move over to the main GIF, which is here. And oh, I forgot to make the loop. So first things first, let's get all of y'all back in here. Let's make you all very, very unshy people. And okay, I lied. I don't need the hair, skin, clothes, stroke, nose, everything else I might need. Let's go headband, mouth, lip. I don't need eyelashes. The eye. I'm gonna unlink these. And can I make them smaller? Let's switch to position. Okay, so what I was trying to do is get some interesting looking eyes. It didn't work out. I'll figure that out later. I'm just gonna Control Z until there we go. Perfect. And they're linked again. The eyes are back to normal. I'll figure out how to animate them. What we're looking for right now is to loop. So we're going here, selecting everything and hitting position, let's see what I actually need. Anything that's over here. So this is 51. Okay, so this goes down on the right foot, and then at the beginning we have the right foot poised up, so there's a little tremble right there. So instead of having it actually, where's the foot? I'm going to select everything, and my last frame is going to be not the foot there, but we're just gonna get rid of everything. Our last frame is going to be this right foot, so I'm gonna need a right foot, right sock, right shoe. I'm gonna need a left arm band. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. Then we're gonna go in here, hit P. Alright, so our last frame is gonna be right there. So we delete this, go back, and it's still looking weird. Let's move it back. Okay, so we're going to stop this animation at 3 seconds and 36 frames. So we're going to come over here to composition settings, and the duration of this will be 3 seconds and 36 frames. We come in here, you'll see that the frames have adjusted themselves. So copy and paste. And that should be a loop, but don't tempt fate, we're gonna test it. Alright, and so we're just going to copy V again. And so we're gonna hit pre-compose here, and this is gonna be female runner. I'm gonna hit that. So before I do that, I'm just gonna because what I want to do is adjust the position of these. So she looks like she's running much faster than old grandpa here. So Let's try it with one layer first and go pose. Let's do that. Hit O. O will take you to the out. Hit another one. And now we can start turning these off. So we're gonna move that off screen. All the way off screen. And then we'll leave it there. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so she's definitely moving a lot faster. I'm gonna delete these two. Copy V, move that O, O, and what we're gonna do is hit position on this. Whoops. And it zoomed in way more than I was prepared for it to do, so we're gonna redo. Okay, so what I did was I redid everything I accidentally undid. For this, I'm going to copy it. Sorry, I'm going to copy this one, paste it here, so that these two overlap with each other. And then we're going to close this. Going to go to our very next position. And I don't know what the difference between these two are, so give me a second as I calculate that, so that we don't have our runner suddenly speeding up. And let's see. So this right here is where are you? There we go. Something to write on. I've got 1, 5, 2, 7, and 8, 6, 1. I can neglect the Y value. And this is negative 358. Which is gonna give me 9, 11, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 1,219 difference. So if we want to go from 8, 6, 1, we're gonna add 1. Okay, so theoretically, this one should be, if I calculated this correctly, 2080. Wait, hey, wrong one. This should be 2080. Alright. And I only need to do that one more time so that our character can completely run off the map. And so we're going to click on both of these, hit position, copy, paste, close it, move to the very next one, and you're not seeing anything here because it's way off screen. 280 plus 1219 gives me 3,299. So 3,299, enter. That's all well and good. Let's go here. That should give me a smooth run. Alright, so that's looking good. Alright, so this right here is the reason why all our shadows are in different places, because technically she's behind. So Grandpa actually needs to be up here and there. Now this looks better. And so now we have two characters running and they have very different runs. One is noticeably faster than the other. I think I'll record that and put that on Instagram. And just so that I don't end up crying later, I'm just gonna hit save. And that is, I'm gonna pre-compose this. Do I actually need to though? I don't really think I should. This I will pre-compose. I have a thing about pre-compositions, meaning they increase render time, so I tend not to like to use them. But this is a situation in which if I want to maintain the cleanliness and organization of this project, I will have to use them. And so they're there. So now if I want to access any of these, I have to go into these compositions, which is already a composition within a composition. And you can already see the rendering stagnating. So I've got 1 more hour on stream and I've pretty much finished animating the character that I thought I was going to animate. So let's put you up here. Let's go fit up to 100%. Hit space. Oh. There we go. It was kind of frozen. What the? Okay, so the whole composition moved down, like, for some strange reason. I'm just gonna hit position. move you upwards to here. Position, move you upwards. And oh, there's just one more thing left to do. And it's actually in this composition. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna go to one of these eyelashes, this one. And is it 180? Nope. What I want to do is I want to flip it. Can I flip it? Or better yet, I'm gonna delete right eyelash, copy V. I'm gonna do it to the headband. This is left eyelash 2. There we go. And theoretically, there we go. And that change, since I made it in this composition, is just going to perpetuate itself through all other compositions on this screen. So once I close this now, once I play, now if you can see, I'm going to wait for her to pass the old man. Now both our eyelashes are facing forward, just like the other one. So just lots of details like that. And now she looks like she's going forward. She looks like she's working hard for that victory. And on to a next character. So file, save. And these are all the parts of that layer. I broke that down. Grandpa lock, composition. Now I can just drop you in there. Blue profiles, we're gonna leave that alone. Them's are dark days. Alright, so I really don't have time to start animating another character now. So I'm gonna see if I can animate some of these other things. So perhaps the tree. I don't know. Let's see. Or maybe those clouds. Yeah. Let's see if we can animate some of those clouds. So this is actually one picture, I believe. No, it's not. This is a full-on... Yeah, I did break this picture up. Thank you, past me. So if I go all the way back here and turn this off, you'll see that cloud disappearing. So I'm just gonna do... Yeah, I'm just gonna animate these clouds, animate the trees, this bush, you know, just give the world some movement to it. Since I don't have the time to animate a character right now, I've got 50 minutes. So we're just gonna leave that where it is. Hey, fun. Come on. Wait, the Booty Snatchers is a criminal empire now, Tony? Wait, what? Okay. Your first your first thing to do, Fawn, is to stop Tony from taking over here. Tony has plans to take over Locktown and set up a base for the booty snatchers and the flock. I don't mind the flock coming, but why you gotta take over? You could just set up a base. It's a free town. So we're just gonna. And the reason I haven't started animating yet is because I'm trying to figure out if I want to do wiggle on the clouds or if I just want to do a boring old position thing. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna do wiggle because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I'm gonna go into position, then I'm gonna alt click to get the expressions. Then I'm gonna shift down. And I have expressions like lined up already. So if you're wondering why certain things just appear out of nowhere. Contains an error. Okay. Undefined value. Fine then. So it's wiggle. Bracket. Since it's gonna make me do this by hand, we're gonna go there. So we're gonna wiggle, open that. And what we want to wiggle is 550. Watch me try to remember how to write expressions. Wait, do the locks have booty? Limited. Okay, let's read from the top. Okay, let me think. If you stop, I'll share some potatoes with you. Wait, do the locks have booty? Limited time offer, fun, no deal. Wiggle, wiggle. Yes. Do the locks have booties? Let me check. Oh my goodness. Tony has plans. He's recruiting people to take over Lockdown. Okay. Tony's recruiting people from the flock to take over Lockdown. I saw that. Okay. Alright. If you say so. I transitioned it so you guys can get a better view of this thing. Do locks have booties? Yes, locks have booties. They really do. Let's go 50. I think this is how it works. Not quite sure, but I'm working it out. And let's go. I cannot explain to you what I'm doing right now. I really cannot because I haven't figured it out yet. So once I figure it out, I will give you a detailed explanation of what's going on here. But until that time, this is. I think that's how it works. Nope. I keep. This is not. Remind yourself, Mono. This is not. This is not CSS. You're not coding for internet. Stop putting semicolons at the bottom of everything. It's not how it works. Unidentified value used in expression. Is it this one? I hope so. It seems to be. Yay! It works. Okay, so the wiggle is working. And it's highly erratic. Hee. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is defining the interval between where I want this cloud to move. So how do I put this? I want this cloud to move between 5 and 6 intervals. So you'll see here, I'm pointing like you guys can see. So you'll see here as I move, the intervals are changing. So it's moving between this as. Okay. So it's moving between these two intervals as time goes on. So that's why the cloud is moving back and forth. What this second position is I'm telling it to move only in the horizontal axis, that is the x-axis. That's the first position, and that's what this is determining. So I say from 0 point on position 1. And that's what the expression is determining. Has determined. There we go. Has determined. I knew I was pronouncing that word wrong. Mona, are you signing over all the rights to Lockdown to me? No, I'm not. You must add additional semicolons. No, as anyone who's ever coded knows, semicolons, if you miss one, they're the bane of your existence. After Effects is strange in that you don't actually need to, but again, all I did was tell it, okay, I want you to wiggle in one dimension. You can only wiggle horizontally. You cannot wiggle vertically, so yeah. So the next thing I want to work out, now I know this is wiggling really erratically. I'm gonna put this between 1 and 6 just to see how it looks. And let's see if, can I put this between -8 and 6? So 1 and 6 works better. Now the cloud looks to have a bit more natural movement there. The next thing I'm looking into doing is seeing if I can add a wave to this right here. So, and when I say wave, I mean the reflection right here. And I mean wave distort. So we're gonna come over here, wave warp. Gonna drop it on there. It's gonna change that. Now you see it's over here throwing a tantrum. The first thing I'm going to do is pin all edges. I'm going to take the height down to 0 because we ain't want nothing. The height is 0. The width. Yeah, the height has to be 0. The width, on the other hand, might be too wide, so we're going to put the width at 5. Doesn't seem to be changing, so I'm going to increase it to 100. Okay, I'm going to reset it, see how it's working. So that's what it looks like right now. And it's completely doing something I don't want it to do. So I'm gonna change it to 0. There we go. So apparently I didn't need to change the width, I needed to change the direction. So let's go to 180. There we go. We're gonna take the wave speed down to 0.2. Whoops, not 2, 0.2. I'm gonna pin all the edges. Okay, let's pin center. There we go. We're gonna put the phrase at 90. And nope, we're gonna leave it at sine. Technically, a sine wave is how waves move. Hi, Rave. More semicolons, very well hidden semicolons. Well, yeah, that's true. After Effects does have semicolons. You can choose not to use them if you use shorthand coding. Must have additional semicolons. Yeah. Alright, so I'm just adding effects to these and hit save because I really, really, really don't want. So I've zoomed in really, really close on these so you can see the lies that are happening here. Another thing I can do with this is to wiggle these randomly in both the horizontal and on their rotations to give it like that bob effect, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to go fit up to 100 and press play. So we've got the characters running in the back, some movement in this area right here. And the next thing, I figured out the clouds, so I can do those at any time. I'm just trying to figure out different movements. The next thing I'm thinking of doing is animating this bush and these towels. These towels may take a combination of wave warp and the puppet tool to get the sort of blowing I want for like blowing in the breeze. But the next thing we're going to work on is not that grassy field, but Where is it? The plant. That's the grass. Wait. Oh, right. So I can't actually do anything to this. I will have to go back into. So I'm gonna actually turn it off so you guys can see what I'm talking about. The residential block and the commercial block are both one item, and so I'll have to go back into Illustrator to I'll have to go back into Illustrator to get those things done. So let's go right back to my clouds then. Position, Alt click, and the beautiful thing about expressions is it disappeared. I'm just joking. Beautiful thing about expressions is I can just come into all of these, hit position, Alt click on all of them, delete, hit wiggle. I'm going to go 1, 2, 5 on all of them. I'm doing this now because I forgot it last time. This is 0, comma, position 1. I'm just working it out in my head. It's position 1. Yeah, it's gonna be position 1. And we will copy. We're just gonna alt click all of these, do the same thing. Save myself from all of it. Go here and play. And I'm zooming in so you guys can see that the clouds are moving subtly according to the wiggle expression. And now when I turn on the commercial block, it's very subtle, but you can see it there. And hit save. Everybody loves semicolons, especially when you have extra ones. Everybody loves semicolons when they're in the right place, man. If your semicolons are not in the right place, then you could find yourself searching through way too much code. A lot more things than you were expecting. So I am a Neenoo refers to it as a tryhard, meaning that if you leave me long enough on a project, it will grow exponentially in proportion to the amount of excitement I have over it. So if you leave me on this long enough and I don't get bored with it, I might find voice actors for these things. That's not a promise. I'm just saying that's the kind of person I tend to be about my projects. So I get really excited and I animate a lot of stuff. Or I will make a project bigger than it needs to be. Usually the thing that keeps me in control is whenever my laziness hits. So I already committed to animating it, so I'm just gonna animate everything. That means glare on glass, trees, grass, clothes, everything. However, once that's done, I'm not quite sure whether my try hard side or my laziness is going to kick in. So whichever one is there at the end of this project, Fan goes, oh lord. Yeah. Yes. That's kind of what happened. So even this girl right here that is running, you should see what I have planned for these shadows, why I need them to be red lines right now. But I'm just using it to practice animation. I like being a tryhard, it's fun. So we've got two running people, tree. Oh wow, the trees are on the same thing. Okay, so what this is meaning is that eventually I will go back into Illustrator and break apart these trees. Yes, I will break apart these trees so that I can animate their leaves. But I have the ambulance right now, and kind of want to give it a flashing light. I want to give the ambulance a light, so I don't think I need to do anything special to do that. I'm just gonna zoom in here and layer new, shape layer. I'm gonna rename this to ambulance light, and add, this is going to be a ellipse. I'm not sure what I just drew. That's a rectangle. Let's delete that. Let's go to the ellipse tool. Okay. And that's the ellipse. I'm gonna draw it out. Now our ellipse has a stroke that's 8 pixels wide, so we're just gonna like put that at 0. And the fill is black. Gonna double click on it and take this color there it is. And then on this I'm gonna put a glow, and as a teacher once told me, it ain't finished till it has a glow on it. So we're gonna come in here and our glow colors are going to be composite on top of, gonna be add original colors, and we're gonna increase the radius. So I put the glow at horizontal to, but what I really want is based on color channels. There we go. Color loops. .4 horizontal And then glow has a, how do I put it? Glow can also have expressions. So what we're looking at is it the radius I want or the intensity? I'm gonna take this intensity up to 9, and I'm going to put the wiggle expression in glow radius. And we want to put that at like, intense expression, error. Alright, give me a sec. Wiggle is acting up again, which is such a weird sentence to say. Wiggle is acting up again. As if I regularly have arguments with Wiggle. You know what I think the problem is? All of this stuff behind it. But I'll never know. There we go. Tune 1, 50. If I really wanted to make this fancy, I would add an actual light in there, and then you'd get like a spinning light and you'd get the woo. But I'm thinking about my rendering time. Tony says his army is ready. His army is ready. Which army, Tony? The booty snatchers army? Like you got a whole army of booty snatchers outside of Locktown just waiting? Inquiring Minds wants to know, Tony, like, what they doing? Inquiring Minds want to know, Tony. Okay. I'm gonna delete the effect and add it again because it ain't working. Let's have this radius of like 50. Okay, composite on top. Nope. There we go. Why would that change it though? It's fine in horizontal. perfectly fine in horizontal. But it's not fine in vertical and horizontal. Because that's such a big difference, right? Is it fine in vertical? Yes, it is. It's just not fine in both. So let's see what's going on. Let's go intensity. I think it's good. A squad of Jaegers. I have some of them, and I have a squad of Jaegers. I'm probably gonna regret asking this question, but what is a Jaeger? Like, on a serious note, what is a Jaeger? Whoa! Woo! Hey! Let's get this at 0. And let's put the radius down to 20. Okay, there we go. Let's move it to 40. 60. Okay, so the intensity is 20. 20. Alright, so this is the difference between wiggle and keyframes. Keyframes actually require me to go in and do this by hand. Wiggle, on the other hand, does all of this for me. Alright. Let's go way down here and let's see. Okay, so now the ambulance light is flashing. We're gonna hit save. Fun, I don't know what an up dog is either. This is starting to sound like I need to whip out Urban Dictionary. So I'm gonna look that up. I use proper grammar font. You were close though. You were really, really close. Almost. Almost. You're really, really close. You were almost there. But yes, I do appreciate the pun in that joke. I really do. Okay, so the glowing ambulance light is there. There is the clouds moving in the background. And the people running in the front. I'm thinking if I make this longer and they run here, and then after a while you see them run here. But let's get all the animations done first. So I've got the balloon, but I don't have the balloon by itself. I'm gonna go with wave and see what I can do with that. Just trying to cheat it a bit. All edges. And we're gonna put the direction at 180. Wave height at 0. That's not gonna work. Wave height at 5. And I wanna pin the center. Let's grab this. Let's move this here. And let's hit play again. So that's there. All edges. Horizontal edges. My balloon looks like a ball of putty or like a lava lamp. So I'm gonna just delete that. We're gonna go with the puppet tool, right? Zoom in on that balloon and see if we can fake this. I've never done this before, so I'm really checking to see if it works. And if it does work, this is amazing. So play. Center. All right. So that ain't working. So we're gonna go here, here, here. And we're gonna go over to here. We're going to deform it. Eventually, Vaughn, you will get someone with it. Probably someone who doesn't draw for Urban Dictionary whenever they hear an unfamiliar internet term. I feel like I should have those Urkel glasses. I feel like I should just have those Urkel glasses. Alright, so I've only got 10 more minutes. I'm gonna just try and animate this. Let's see. I'm just gonna use expression to animate this random balloon string on each of these deformations. And then that's me for the night. After that. Okay. So, okay. Something's off. Whoa. Somehow, this thing went all the way down here. So we're gonna go 1 and 2, see if that makes a difference. Alright, it's not working with me. Not as simple as I thought it would be. Oh well. So I'm just gonna make this bigger, and we'll see what we have left for today. So I'm gonna put this in the center of the screen now, and just hit play. Alright, and yeah, this is pretty much what we have done for today. So we completed the character animation on the female runner. We added some wiggling lines here, a little bit of movement in the clouds, not a whole lot of movement because they are very far away, so too much movement will look weird on them. And then we added a glow to the ambulance light. These things right here is basically what After Effects is for. All of this down here is what you would usually use Adobe Animate for, but because I don't know the program yet, I'm using After Effects. Because just because I don't know the program doesn't mean I can't do what I want to do. The semicolons did it. They must have. Maybe they did. They probably did. The semicolons probably messed me up. Or I could have forgotten a comma. That sounds like I forgot a comma. I think I forgot a comma. So I'm gonna type that in. 1, 2, 6, 0, comma, position, 1. You think this will work? Well, something's working. Maybe. I think it's working. I just need to figure out what it is. Okay. When I do this, the string elongates immediately, so I'm not sure. It's not working, and so that's probably where I'm going to leave it for today. So that's where we are on this project for today. Thanks for coming, guys, and we'll continue this either next week or the week afterwards. I'll let you guys know prior to streaming whether or not we'll continue this. Thanks for watching. Where's all my hearts? I have hearts for you guys. Yes, I do. Alrighty then. Thanks for watching, guys. That's us for today. That is us for today. and ending stream in 3, 2, 1.